Hello and welcome to House and Bros.
Craft Beer 101.
This week,
Porter Baltique.
Baltic Porters.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
For an open window on the craft beer world, Max and Chris from Ups and Brew. Welcome to Ups and Bros. Yeah.
So this week, it's a style that was brought to us by
Alexandre Guimont on Facebook. So thanks a lot for the recommendation. It's right over there on the table. We're drinking Les Trois Mousquetaires, Porter Baltique, and we also found two aging ones in our cellars. So
which was a happy surprise. I had no idea we had one in the fridge
So,
or the cellar.
we're still glad because we bought this bottle. Yeah, I'll plug this in right now.
Yep.
This bottle, $1 goes to Ça brasse contre le cancer. So it's an organism to support Leucan, which fights off cancer. So for the whole month of October, each time you buy a Porter Baltique, $1 goes off to this organism. But it's not just that. There's over like 50 breweries in the whole Quebec region that supports this organism. So one beer from all those breweries gives $1 to those breweries.
So, if you have a chance to buy those beers in the Quebec region, please do. I mean, it's the perfect time to help an organization while enjoying a beer.
And it's also made in collaboration with Passport en Feu, which is another organization that's been in contact with us. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot more to come.
Yes, as always. So
without further ado, let's dive into the story of this fantastic beer, Max.
It's an interesting style now.
Yeah.
Up to now, we've done the porters, stouts. I think we've also
We haven't done porter yet.
No, we haven't done porter,
So
but
we
in
need-
stout we touched it.
Yeah, we touched it,
We did
yeah.
milk stout, and I think we did another kind of stout. Which
Or
one
an
was
extra
it?
stout.
For an extra stout. So now we're at the fourth stout.
Yeah.
The Baltic Porter.
I
Oh, no,
guess
stout.
you
It's-
guys are really kind of like I forgot the right word.
What's the word?
The soif.
Oh yeah,
You're
thirsty for this kind of beer, for darker beers.
That's amazing.
So as you know, porters and stout, pretty much the same style, at least it was at some point until it got dissociated.
Yeah.
But let's talk about porters. Porters were initially created in England for the working class, especially the working class working on ports. So on ships and stuff like that. Which is where the Baltic Porter takes origin.
Ooh.
So naturally, when you're talking about shipyard, you're talking about a lot of people coming in from other regions, such as Scandinavian regions, Finland, the Baltics, Russia,
Sweden.
Poland, Sweden, a bunch of those regions over there would come in, and they took a liking to the style. They really enjoyed the porter,
darker beers.
the darker
Yeah.
beers.
Okay.
Now, not only did they enjoy it, not only did the common folk enjoy it, but the Russian royalty also took a liking to it.
They are fine beer connoisseurs out there.
Yes, they are.
Russian. I'm not sure about Vladimir out there, but Vladimir, if you're watching, let us know what's your favorite beer. Why not?
So that said, the Russian Empress liked it so much that when they taxed the British products coming into Russia, they exempted porters and stouts.
Ooh,
that's how
that's
much
cool.
she liked it.
That's really cool.
Now, naturally, when you like something, you try to imitate it. You try to make something the same out of different. Anyways, so
you try to make it the same.
yeah,
but-
try to make it the same,
Yeah.
but you have to do it different because you won't have the same ingredients.
Yeah, and because in the Baltics it's cold,
Yes.
they had to do it with lager yeast. So the lagering
Exactly.
process made a huge impact on this particular porter.
Exactly. Not only that, but in general, in northern regions, yeast started to morph into something different. So it was a lager, but at first it wasn't really supposed to be a lager. They still use the same yeast. It just kind of transformed.
Yeah.
Now, not only that, they had a real problem with water. So one big part about the porter was the water source they were using. So anyways, that said, the two first breweries that started doing Baltic porters were one in Finland, in Helsinki, and the second one was called Le Coq in Estonia. So they were the first two to do it. Now, naturally, they had different yeast, lager yeast, different water, and different malt profiles. Now, before we go into the science behind it, one thing, again in the story, the history of this beer, is that after World War II, the iron wall, the iron curtain. Anyways, the
iron curtain.
iron curtain.
It's the right way,
The separation between Europe, separation especially between the Russian, the Slavic part of Europe and the eastern part of Europe, made it so that the beer style kind of got lost. No one were really talking about this until the 1980s when the wall came down, and then the style kind of got reintroduced.
So I was born. Porter Baltique came back.
Well, not 80s. So it was before that. It started coming back in the 80s. Okay. The wall came down in 1991. When we were born.
Yeah, exactly. So we brought down the iron wall. That's what happened.
Perhaps.
The legend
said it was us.
That's what happened.
Yes. Hops and Bros were there and brought it down.
Yeah.
Rewrite your history books. They were all wrong.
Yeah, we were with Scorpion on that wall. Yeah.
So what's the science behind this beer, Chris? I'm not actually sure I get the reference.
Scorpion, this in Wind of Change for the Berlin Wall when it came down.
Okay.
It came down. Yeah.
Scorpion. Oh, Wind of Change, the song Scorpion, the band.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking of something else, like another organization. But anyways,
No. Okay, perfect. Come back to the science of the beer. The Baltic Porter is the answer to the ale counterpart, which is Russian Imperial Stout. So, two styles, two strong beers, totally different. So, the Porter Baltic is the lager answer to this ale type of beer. It's one of the most hard beers to brew. Why? Because of the lagering process. We already talked about it when we covered the lager part of it.
Yes.
It's a really hard process to nail right on point. And this beer, what makes it hard to do is because you put more malts in there, more cereals, so definitely more sugar, more alcohol. So you need to keep it subtle, yet fun to enjoy, not too sweet and not too boozy. With having it as a lager.
Exactly. So it's a lot of different factors to try to create this beer, which, just a little side note, this beer I think nails it. It's really right on point for that. It's very, very well balanced. And you almost can't feel the fact that it's a 10%, 8%.
10%. So the style at the beginning was clocked in at 7 to 8.5%. But as all Americans do, they take all the styles and crank them up
as much as they can
to maximum that the beer can handle. So now we find the Porter Baltic at 10%. It's about the style, like the percentage you want the beer to be at, but you don't want to taste it. So the base malts of the beer contains 70% of base malts. Base malts, we're talking about like Munich malt, but the blonde ones. So not your darker malts are used to spice up the beer.
Okay.
Not used to create base of your beer, because you'll get too much roastiness. Your beer will taste like burnt cereals. So if you want to blend the whole thing really well, some brewers add licorice to it to create that kind of mellowness at the end. But the whole beer, if you follow the BGCP guidelines, you need to have this nice chocolate roastiness at the beginning, really subtle. This beer needs to stay subtle the whole process. So the sweetness rounds up a little bit, and you get a nice finish on the dark fruit side of things. So you can get dark fruit, cherries, a little bit of licorice. It needs to stay sweet, but not too sweet.
Of what I see is the sweetness is probably the first thing that I taste, but then I know there's roastiness. The roastiness is kind of second, but it is there, and it's very present.
Exactly. And it's really important to keep the balance in this beer. So overall, yes.
Let's cut it right now.
Let's So, what a close call.
Yes. As you know, in the past, we've lost footage like this. So now we don't take a chance. We see it go red, it's turning off.
Not happening anymore. So the battery with the next, not using it anymore.
No. Well, I mean, using it, but very vigilant.
Yeah, for like 2 minutes footage. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So we were ending this on how the beer needs to be subtle yet hefty.
Yes.
And this is really nailing right on point. So Alex, thanks a lot for the recommendation. I think this beer really answers well the different guidelines that the beer needs to be. Also, something really important about that, what the Americans did when they took this beer on is trying to put those fancy beers, fantastic, subtle style in their own bourbon barrels.
Oh, because so that's why we have one of those that actually age in a whiskey barrel.
Exactly. Okay. So Americans, they have plenty of barrels from bourbon, whiskey, all those alcohols, and the barrels for whiskey, they are only used once in their life.
Bourbon.
Bourbon, sorry.
Whiskey can be reused. The bourbon is a one-time thing.
a one-time thing to create
Thank you,
filmmakers drinking bourbon for this fantastic
fact.
because we don't know shit about bourbon.
No, we don't.
But yes, so because of that, we have access to a lot of bourbon barrels to put beer in, and the Porter Baltic is a style that suits really well this kind of like wooden flavors to it.
Yes, sir.
So I think it sums up what's the science between the whole Baltic Porter and also
the science, the history, and everything. So hopefully you like the video. Now, if you want to do like Alex and let us know what you want to see in a future Craft Beer 101. We're creative, but we like to have new ideas here
exactly.
and there.
It helps a lot.
It does.
And also stop by Ça brasse contre le cancer Facebook page, give them a like and support the cause because it's totally worth it.
Yeah, check out which beers are going to be giving $1 and maybe your next beer outing, buy one or two of those.
Will be this one.
Yeah.
Woo! So subscribe to the channel, it supports the whole thing, and also put down in the comment if you have any questions.
Please do.
Cheers guys.
Cheers.
See you in the next video.
Hells yeah.
Woo! Close call on this one. Close call.
Fuck, on a fait 2 minutes de